I surrender to our passions, my love.
Hi, Skipper.
Willingly.
There's a runway, so I thought I'd come over
Gladly.
and see if you needed anything at all. So
I want to go where you go.
right now?
Lift me to the heavens, my love. Sweep me off my feet. Oh, please, take me with you. Carry me off.
Welcome back to our journey through time. This time, let's leave the galaxy behind and land on a deserted island in the Pacific, where the SS Minnow ran aground with 7 unlucky guests. This is Gilligan's Island, 1964, a classic masterpiece of American sitcom history. The plot is incredibly simple. A 3-hour tour turns into an endless shipwreck. We have a short-tempered skipper, a billionaire who is never short on cash, and of course, Gilligan the clumsy first mate. However, what audiences actually find most entertaining are the bottomless plot holes, from Ginger's overly provocative scenes to the blatant sexism displayed among the cast. Have you ever wondered how they managed to keep their makeup perfectly intact after decades of eating nothing but fish and coconut water? Today, let's take a look at the 20 most hilarious logic fails and movie mistakes on Gilligan's Island. Before we start the journey, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. 20. Many of Ginger's provocative scenes were allowed to air.
That, Professor, is what Mrs. Tiffany Smith wants.
Do you remember this moment? Ginger steps out of the hot spring bath area that the professor painstakingly installed. She is wrapped only in a single delicate silk towel, a prop just barely sufficient to cover her lethal curves. The issue here is that at the time, these scenes were considered far too steamy. So why were they cleared by censors? Many argue there was nothing against the rules about her being sexy. It all came down to the audience's vivid imagination. Additionally, there are quite a few kissing scenes with male actors that were considered scorching. This girl always kissed whoever she liked. Surely you remember the part where Ginger teaches the professor about love? I'm certain everyone dreamed of taking the professor's place right then. 19. Gender discrimination on the island.
Marianne, it's agreed. We'll pool our ideas and we'll split the $1 million. Oh, and I have a wonderful idea for Mr. Howells' rescue. Oh, so have I. What's yours? What's yours? You go first.
Have you noticed the ironic paradox that always exists on this island? While the men like the professor or the skipper are preoccupied with grand inventions or efforts to find a way back, the female characters are pigeonholed into nameless tasks like cooking, cleaning, or beautifying themselves. This casting was actually a mirror reflecting American society in the 1960s. Ginger was frequently objectified to become a magnet for the male gaze, while Marianne was confined to the girl next door persona. More notably, actress Dawn Wells was extremely resourceful in real life. Even though she was the hardest worker, those contributions were often taken for granted and never elevated to the status of achievements like the professor's inventions. 18. The Howells' massive hoard of cash.
Now, Gilligan, you just come over here and lie down.
Me?
There, yes. Now, you comfy, dear.
Just put my pillow and fluff you up a little. There you are. You got a little drink, huh?
You probably haven't forgotten this laughably absurd detail. Millionaire couple Thurston and Lovey Howell brought dozens of suitcases filled with clothes, jewelry, and thousands of dollars in cash. Even stranger, they still use that money to bribe the other characters. According to estimates, over 98 episodes, the Howells shelled out a total of about $300,000 in cash, an amount equivalent to millions of dollars in today's value. Audiences couldn't help but wonder, why on earth would a short trip require such a massive amount of liquid currency? It didn't stop there, Ian. The Howells even tried to establish a banking system and a stock market right in the middle of the wilderness. They hired Gilligan as a servant, paid him a regular wage, and then use that same money to fine him whenever he made a mistake. This detail isn't just a biting satire of the super rich. It also highlights a reality of social injustice. Even when facing a life or death situation, the power of money remained their top priority. 17. The girl's wardrobe and the lead actress's off-screen drama.
Okay, let's go. Marianne, I'm telling you for the last time, the skipper is mine.
Well, that's what you think. I thought he was cute for quite a while. I've just been too shy to say how I feel.
Did you catch this? Marianne and Ginger only went on a 3-hour tour, yet in every episode, they sport a brand new outfit. One moment you see Marianne in gardening gear, the next. Ginger steps out in a shimmering evening gown. There's even a segment where Ginger covers a Marilyn Monroe song. I keep wondering, where did they hide those clothes under the boat seats or stuffed in with the fire extinguisher? And here's a little-known fact. Although the two starlets seemed very close in real life, Miss Ginger didn't actually like Marianne. Dawn Wells, who played Marianne, was the one who truly captured the hearts of the audience and became the fan favorite. The girl next door's appeal was so massive that her fan mail volume was double that of movie star Tina Louise. And of course, this made Tina extremely resentful. 16. Coconuts, coconuts, and more coconuts.
Well, this trap should catch at least one of the spider's legs.
If there were a Nobel Prize for natural scrap recycling, our professor would surely be without equal. In the world of Gilligan's Island, coconuts aren't just food, they are semiconductors, circuit boards, and an endless source of power. Through some sort of miracle, the professor managed to build a coconut toaster, a coconut washing machine, and even a coconut lie detector. It seems that the laws of physics were completely clouded by coconut water here. A prime example is in the episode X Marks the Spot, where the professor successfully builds a device to measure heart rates and bodily reactions out of coconut shells to track down a thief. The ridiculous part is that it works so accurately that it finds the culprit instantly. It teaches us that if you have enough knowledge, the whole world, or at least a coconut, is in your hands. 15. The lady's secret runway hidden under the sand.
Let me entertain you. Let me make you smile. Let me do a few tricks, some old and then some new tricks.
If there were a competition for the ability to balance on the harshest terrains, Ginger and Mrs. Howell would certainly sweep the top spots. In the middle of a deserted island full of quicksand and mud, they still managed to wear high heels without ever tripping. Actress Tina Louise once shared that walking in heels on sinking sand was a true torture. To prevent the heels from sinking, the production crew had to lay wooden boards under the sand in the specific spots where the actresses would walk. This created a secret runway that allowed them to strut without worrying about being buried on the spot. This detail is a satire of the frivolous lifestyle of the elite at the time they would rather die than go without fashion. 14. The linguistic abilities of the natives.
Or have you already noticed?
Aruka!
That's right. You, Haruka, me, girl.
Girl!
In the world of Gilligan's Island, language barriers seem to be a purely theoretical concept. Whether it's a fierce tribe or indigenous residents from neighboring islands, they all possess an incredible ability to communicate with the 7 white guests. And here is a fun secret to save time: the writers usually skip the complicated process of learning a language or using a translator. They used a form of broken English or simply allowed the native characters to understand English instinctively. This was a classic 1960s trope used to speed up the plot. And did you notice most of the native roles in the film were played by actors of Asian or Latino descent? Most notable is Vito Scotti, who played many different roles in the series, from a mad scientist to various strange guests. This is a reflection of the Eurocentrism prevalent during that era. 13. Ginger's immortal false eyelashes.
All right. Gee, that would make me happy. Being rescued. Imagine everybody being rescued.
Speaking of Ginger's eyelashes, they are truly a physical marvel. Have you noticed, whether she's taking a mud bath or even sobbing uncontrollably because she misses Hollywood, her mascara remains absolutely flawless without a single smudge. While Marianne occasionally gets a bit messy with garden soil, Ginger always appears as if she's living behind a 24/7 beauty filter. The writers intentionally created an absolute contrast between the two. While Marianne represents the working class, Ginger is the personification of Hollywood, a place where even seawater can't make her lashes fall off. 12. The immortal radio and its mysterious power source.
Erica, all America is waiting breathlessly to hear about your adventure.
It was marvelous, darling. Simply marvelous. I found the most wonderful group of people on the cutest little island.
That small battery-powered radio was the group's only lifeline to the outside world. Through 3 seasons and hundreds of episodes, it continued to function smoothly, allowing them to catch weather updates or baseball scores. The funny thing is, in the humid conditions of a tropical island, a plastic radio from that era should have broken down ages ago. And despite the total lack of convenience stores on the island, its batteries seemingly never ran out. To explain this, the professor occasionally popped up with DIY battery chargers made from coconut water or seashells. In reality, this prop was a 1964 Packard Bell radio model. After the show ended, it became one of the most expensive pieces of memorabilia in television history. 11. Bubble-filled breath from radioactive vegetables.
Vegetables? Skipper! Professor, look what I caught! Carrots and beets and spinach! Vegetables!
The episode Pass the Vegetables Please provided one of the weirdest and most memorable visuals. The whole group began blowing bubbles every time they opened their mouths. According to the script, this happened because they accidentally ate radioactive vegetables grown on the island. However, behind this visual magic lies a fascinating production slip-up. In the moment, Marianne gasps in shock. If you look closely, you can see a small metal clip right next to her face. That was actually the device holding the foam solution tube, the real culprit, behind those shimmering on-screen bubbles. To make it look real, the actors had to literally hold foam solution in their mouths. Actor Bob Denver once shared that it was a horrific experience because it tasted exactly like bleach. They had to struggle not to swallow the liquid while trying to maintain panicked expressions and deliver lines amidst the streaming bubbles. 10. Is Mrs. Howell actually allergic to cats? In the episode Feed the Kitty, the production crew very clearly confirmed that Mrs. Howell is allergic to cats. And it's true, she sneezed, as if she were trying to blow the entire island away. However, by the episode The Friendly Physician, a cat appears, and the lady remains perfectly composed as if nothing happened. Loyal fans who apparently have better memories than the director immediately caught this blunder. To excuse the oversight, many fans offered a rather charitable argument. Mrs. Howell didn't share a direct scene with the cat, and that brief exposure wasn't enough to trigger the billionaire's immune system. 9. A mechanical genius defeated by a boat. In the world of Gilligan's Island, the most frustrating character for the audience is the professor, a man capable of building anything out of thin air, except a way to get everyone off the island. Despite being a brilliant genius, he is completely helpless when it comes to patching a single hole in the small wooden SS Minnow. Actor Russell Johnson, who played the professor, received countless fan letters asking about this exact issue. He would just laugh and wittily reply, "If I actually fixed the boat, we'd all be out of a job." Interestingly, Russell Johnson was a real-life hero. He served as an Air Force lieutenant during World War II, flew 44 combat missions, and even survived a plane crash in the Pacific. Perhaps that real-world survival experience is what made his portrayal of the professor so convincing. 8. The missing eighth guest. The theme song's lyric states firmly, 5 passengers set sail that day. However, if you squint and count the group on the Minnow as it leaves the harbor, you'll notice something interesting. There are actually 8 people present on deck. So where did that 8th person evaporate to once the ship washed up on the deserted island? In reality, there was no mysterious disappearance. It was simply a classic Hollywood editing error. The actual footage was filmed at the harbor in Newport Beach, California. During filming, a few crew members or bystanders accidentally wandered into the background behind the boat. Many fun fan theories suggest the 8th person was a sacrifice to the sea god Poseidon to ensure the other 7 survived. But the reality is simpler. In the original pilot, the cast was completely different, featuring 2 secretaries and a teacher. So discrepancies in the number of people during edited montages were almost inevitable. 7. The city appears. At the end of the episode, the friendly physician. As the group boards a boat to head home, the high-rise buildings of Los Angeles are visible just behind the coconut trees. It seems this deserted island was actually located right next to Hollywood Boulevard, separated by nothing more than a few palm fronds. In reality, the deserted island we see was the CBS Studio Center, formerly CBS Radford in Studio City, California. The lagoon where they filmed was a massive man-made pond built right on the studio lot. Because it was situated in the heart of the city, having skyscrapers accidentally slip into the frame was an oversight by the post-production team. Furthermore, sound was a constant challenge. Since the lot was near a highway, the crew frequently had to pause filming whenever a car horn honked or an engine roared. 6. A deserted island that looks like a bus stop.
The ship's aground on the shore of this. The ship's aground on the shore of this uncharted desert island.
There is a hilarious paradox that has become a trademark of Gilligan's Island. Even though our 7 main characters are constantly searching for an escape, the island seems to be the favorite pit stop for the rest of the world. Everyone drops by from the Russians and the musical group the Wellingtons to fierce indigenous tribes. The strange thing is that every guest could come and go as they pleased, yet only our 7 protagonists remained stuck. Do you remember the NASA episode The 7 Castaways were trying to pick up a signal? But because Gilligan accidentally got them all covered in colorful rags, the scientists mistook them for a group of strange creatures. Throughout 98 episodes, about 60 guest characters visited the island. On average, a stranger appeared every 1.5 episodes. With that kind of fluctuating population density, this island should have been marked on satellite maps ages ago. 5. Why didn't anyone just row to shore?
However, that wave will be so strong that it could force a boat into the shipping lane so we can finally be rescued.
That's good.
Only we don't have a boat.
That's bad.
This is likely the burning question for anyone who followed the journey of the 7 island residents. With a genius like the professor who could build a radiation detector out of a seashell solding, a sturdy raft should have been a survival priority. Instead of waiting for a miracle to fall from the sky or pinning their hopes on random passers-by, why didn't they just pick up some oars? Producer Sherwood Schwartz once revealed that if they ever left the island, the show would end immediately. Therefore, every time the professor or Gilligan came close to figuring out a way to row home, the writers had to deliver a slap, a sudden storm, a shark, or most classically, Gilligan's clumsiness, destroying the raft at the very last second. 4. The magical soundproof bamboo walls. Do you remember the huts where our 7 castaways lived? They were built from bamboo and palm fronds, so fragile that a light breeze from the Pacific could make them wobble. Yet an unwritten law of physics existed throughout all 3 seasons. Characters could freely plot schemes, whisper secrets, or have loud arguments inside a hut, while the person right outside the wall wouldn't hear a single peep. Occasionally, the writers use this flimsiness for a laugh. Gilligan often accidentally eavesdropped on secrets just by standing too close to a wall or by literally falling through it. This goes to show that privacy on the island only existed when the script allowed it and vanished the moment a punchline was needed. 3. Knocked out but still keeping an eye out. In the episode where the shady butterfly collector Lord Beasley decides to leave the island and knocks out all 7 residents to claim his loot, a scene of total chaos unfolds. However, while everyone was supposed to be unconscious, the glamorous Mrs. Howell accidentally let a small slip-up show. Natalie Schafer caught a quick glimpse of her surroundings by squinting her eyes open. Did you know that Natalie Schafer was nearly 65 years old when she joined the show, even though she kept her real age a secret from the cast and crew? Having to perform continuously like that was no small challenge. That little peak was likely just a natural reflex. 2. The man-powered rescue mission in So Sorry My Island Now. The drama kicks into high gear when Gilligan sneaks onto a Japanese submarine for a rescue mission. However, the mystery of a submerged war machine evaporated in a single frame. Even though the sub was supposedly underwater, the audience could clearly see actor Bob Denver's legs. The peak of the absurdity is the underwater rowing scene. If you squint at the crystal clear studio water, you can catch a glimpse of a crew member standing on the shore. 1. Gilligan's mysterious wedding ring. Remember the episode They're Off and Running? During a close-up shot, while he's enthusiastically cheering for his turtle eagle-eyed viewers, were stunned to see a sparkling wedding ring on Gilligan's finger. What was going on? Was Gilligan secretly married? As it turns out, actor Bob Denver was so immersed in his performance that he simply forgot to take off his real-life wedding band before stepping in front of the camera. At the time of filming, Bob Denver was married to his second wife. He was known as a devoted family man who rarely took off his ring unless the script absolutely demanded it. Perhaps during a tiring day of filming in the studio heat, he just plain forgot. As we close the curtain on this island of innocence and laughter, it's clear that these infinite logic fails are actually part of the soul that gives Gilligan's Island its timeless charm. No matter how many crew members accidentally pop up or how nonsensical Ginger's wardrobe becomes, Gilligan's clumsiness remains a priceless spirit lifter for generations of fans. Perhaps it's that very imperfection that keeps us on this island much longer than a 3-hour tour. Which of these movie mistakes did you find the most ridiculous? Or have you spotted another secret hidden behind the island's banana trees? Let us know in the comments so we can discuss. If you enjoyed this journey behind the scenes and love decoding classic cinematic secrets, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to be the first to see our next episodes. See you on our next adventure.